Um, Does this send me a note saying agenda reordered? Okay, good enough. Okay, welcome everyone. Today's council meeting, Tuesday, February 11th. We always begin our meeting with our land acknowledgement. The municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including the Huron-Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples whose presence continues to enrich our communities. Miigwech. Please join us now in the singing of O Canada. Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the approval of our meeting agenda? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valleycat. Be it resolved that the agenda for the meeting February 11th, 2025, regular council meeting be approved as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Honor, any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the adoptions of 3 sets of minutes? Minutes from January 28th, 2025, regular council meeting, January 30th, 2025, a budget meeting, and February 4th, 2025, special meeting. A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Valleycat, and thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on any of those minutes? I know there's 3 sets there, but seeing none, be it resolved that the minutes of the January 28th, 2025 regular council meeting, the January 30th, 2025 budget meeting, and the February 4th, 2025 special meeting be adopted as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Notification of closed meeting. Council will hold a closed meeting during the regular council meeting pursuant to section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 C25 as amended to consider the following matters. K, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried out by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. 2001 C25 S2392 2017 C10 Schedule 1 S26. My mayor's remarks. First, I'd just like to note that Deputy Mayor Demarche is not with us today. He sends his regrets. Okay, I have a lot to say again because there's a lot going on, and I want to make sure everybody's operating with the same set of information. First of all, I always like to begin our council meetings with a heartfelt congratulations. And today, we extend our appreciation to the Festival of Trees Committee, along with their partner and friends, for their outstanding generosity. On your 20th anniversary, you have donated $25,000 to 19 youth-based organizations, bringing your total investment in Tweed and area youth to over $300,000. Your dedication and commitment to ensuring youth programming thrives in our community is truly inspiring. On January 29th, I had the pleasure of attending the incredible production of Ghostlight by Tweed and Company Theatre. The next day, we held our 4th and final 2025 budget meeting. After much deliberation and cost cutting, we reduced our overall tax increase from 47% to 15%. Still a significant increase, but a necessary one. I will provide more details later in my remarks. On January 30th, Councillors Fleeler, Valiquette, and I participated in a flag-raising ceremony to mark the beginning of Black History Month. The following day, on February 1st, I put on my sous chef hat and teamed up with the talented chef Michael at Cube Cafe, serving a delicious 4-course Italian dinner to raise funds for our local food program. Thanks to the support of our community, we raised $1,000 for Food for All, an initiative tackling food insecurity. The event was such a success that Cube Cafe is considering making it a regular charitable tradition. And for those interested, Chef Michael, who hails from Thomasburg, will even come to your home and cook up a feast. On February 3rd, I traveled to Belleville to welcome NDP leader Marit Stiles during her campaign stop. If you recall, MPP Stiles and Green Party leader Mike Schreiner were the only 2 leaders who accepted our invitation to discuss the challenges facing our community and neighboring municipalities. The next day, I attended a joint fire services board meeting, followed by a meeting with Deputy Mayor DeMarche, Councillors Valiquette and Fleeler, and the recruiter leading our CAO search. On February 6th, I gave 2 media interviews, one with Andrew Cruikshank from Cottage Life, discussing the lack of provincial and federal support for small rural Ontario, and another with Zach McGibbon from Quinte News, addressing our latest tax increase. That evening, I attended both the Kiwanis executive and general meetings. On February 7th, I met with Renee Young, coordinator of the Food for All program at Gateway Community Health Center, along with Carmela Roberto and Avery McMillan from Hastings County. We discussed ways to ensure youth have access to food during summer holidays, and I'm thrilled to announce that Hastings County has stepped up with a $10,000 contribution to support this vital program, a much-needed and greatly appreciated boost. On February 8th, I had the pleasure of attending the Lions Club annual Pinewood Derby, a fantastic event where participants of all ages design, build, and race 8-inch cars in a friendly competition. It was incredibly difficult to judge the best design with so many creative entries. Councillors Valiquette and Fleeler also joined in the Derby fun before we headed to a meet and greet with Lynn Rigby, the Liberal candidate for the provincial election. It was an opportunity to share our growing concerns about the lack of provincial support for Hastings County. On February 9th, I had a 2-hour meeting with Jess Zielik, our NDP candidate, and was impressed by the depth of our conversation. We covered a wide range of critical issues impacting small rural Ontario, including aging infrastructure, affordable housing, food insecurity, homelessness, and our struggling healthcare system. The discussion was dynamic, engaging, and thought-provoking. I want to revisit my comments from our budget meeting and why a 15% tax levy increase is necessary. This increase is driven by rising costs, future planning, rebuilding reserves, and replacing heavy equipment. Despite these needs, we have once again postponed pressing infrastructure projects, hoping the province will finally step forward with funding. For context, a 1% tax increase generates $54,500 in revenue for this municipality. We will bring in $6.3 million in tax revenues to run your entire municipality. Major budget factor this year is policing costs. In 2025, our OPP costs were set to rise by $237,000, a 23.7% increase, bringing our total policing costs to $1,284,000 out of that 6.3 I just referred to, a 4.4% tax increase on its own. Due to backlash from rural and northern municipalities, Premier Ford announced the province would cover this increase for 2025. However, there is no commitment for 2026. To prepare, we are allocating 2% of this year's 15% levy into an OPP reserve. If the province covers the costs in 2026, we will apply the reserve to that year's tax levy. If not, this will help absorb what will be an even larger OPP cost increase next year. Another priority is our asset management plan and the need to rebuild reserves. We are starting with a small 1.79% commitment, $97,500. All municipalities are required by the province to conduct asset management plans, identifying long-term infrastructure replacement costs. Our 2024 AMP states that we should be setting aside 13.1 million annually for the next 15 to 20 years, a staggering figure considering we only bring in 6.3 annually. To make matters worse, the province is insisting on a funding plan this year while continuing to deny us infrastructure funding. With the 2% OPP reserve and the 1.79 infrastructure reserve, our tax levy increase would be around 11.2%. The province could assist, but has remained uncommitted. Additionally, this council is required to repay a $270,000 deficit left by the previous council. Unlike higher levels of government, municipalities must balance their budgets. We committed to a 3-year payment plan, meaning $90,000 per year must be factored in. Without this repayment, plus the OPP and infrastructure reserves, our levy increase would be 9.2%. We all agree that this is still a substantial increase. Now to the provincial property assessment. The provincial property assessment was originally scheduled for review during the first year of the new Conservative government's mandate in 2018. However, the government chose not to proceed, leaving us in 2025 without an updated assessment since 2016, a 9-year gap. Given the significant increase in home values over this period, we understand residents' concerns about property assessments and how they may impact municipal tax levies. It's important to clarify that a province-wide property assessment does not generate additional revenue for the municipality. Does not generate additional revenue for the municipality. For example, if our operating costs are $6 million in 2025 and increase to $6.3 million in 2026, the municipality is only permitted to collect $6.3 million, regardless of change in property values. If an assessment occurs, the mill rate must be adjusted accordingly, meaning some property taxes may actually decrease. For more information, we encourage residents to watch the property assessment video on our website, which explains this process in detail. Also, we are undertaking 2 staffing review initiatives. Across municipal comparison, we are reviewing staffing levels, associated costs, and operational scope in comparison with neighboring municipalities to ensure efficiency. And also an employment equity review. As required by law, this review will be conducted later this year. These efforts will help ensure that our municipal staffing structure is both cost-effective and sustainable while meeting the needs of our growing community. Next, where are your provincial and federal tax dollars going? It's time to ask why our provincial and federal tax dollars are not funding critical infrastructure, housing, and community services here. Consider these provincial spending decisions. $7 billion in savings for Toronto by repatriating the Don Valley Parkway and Gardiner Expressway. $500 million per year for 3 years to help Toronto balance its budget, starting in 2024. $543 million in infrastructure for Ottawa. Over $10 billion in urban housing grants. $1 billion lost by eliminating the license sticker fees. $1.25 billion lost by fast-tracking LCBO privatization. $800 million for a private sector spa and parking lot. $3.2 billion in $200 checks sent to all Ontarians, including the wealthy. And $100 million for a necessary early provincial election with 1.5 years left in their mandate. Yet, of all of that money, not a single infrastructure grant has been approved for any Hastings County municipality since 2023. Furthermore, every dollar the province spends is borrowed and amortized over 25 to 30 years, meaning a significant portion of your tax dollars will go toward paying interest on investments that overwhelmingly benefit large urban centers, while small rural communities like ours are left behind. This growing imbalance is not just unfair, it is unsustainable. Furthermore, all these provincial dollars are borrowed and amortized, as I mentioned. And all of these ones above. There is no money. This government has incurred an $80 billion deficit since it's in this year. If we want to keep property taxes at a reasonable level, we need your help in securing the funding our community rightly deserves. The provincial government can continue cutting taxes and offloading responsibilities, creating the illusion of fiscal relief. But at the municipal level, we have no such option. We are the final line of accountability. There is no lower level of government to absorb these costs. We are forced to shoulder the burden, and the reality is undeniable. It's an unfair, unsustainable model that leaves a bitter taste for us all. I encourage you to review your last income tax return. Consider how much you pay provincially and federally versus municipally. If you want your tax dollars to support your community, we need your voice. Demand better from your elected representatives. I've extracted from my mayor's comments all references to the battles we have fought and the injustices your community has been subject to by both levels of government. This report will be posted on our website under mayor's comments. This weekend, I hope you enjoy the fantastic Tweed Winter Carnival. Mother Nature seems to be cooperating, providing the perfect weather for a fun-filled event. Thank you, as always, for your support and engagement in our community. Yes, Councillor Flynn.
Your worship, I'd just like to add a message from AMO. They've stated that you should vote like your quality of life depends on it. Yep, perfect.
There you go.
That's right from AMO, right
Yep.
there, right there. So, I mean,
What to say in the back there? There's a number of these circulating. They were actually been appearing in the Globe and Mail and other national newspapers in regards to how the government needs to come forward and start not only helping the homeless, but also investing in infrastructure. They're very good, short little summaries.
with all the turmoil in the world today, we need to really think about what we're doing.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Councillor Fleeler. Okay, we're moving on to a public meeting. No, I have a sheet here. What did I do with it? Okay, so I'm calling the public meeting to order. Are there any, first of all, I'll just, okay, this public meeting is in regards to a planning meeting for zoning amendment 7A2/25, the description of the property. The applicant is George Pfeiffer. Authorized agent is Grant Fitz. The location is part of Lot 1, Concession 1, Township of Elsevier, Cottage Lane. The purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to change the zoning of a 1.5 acre and a 0.86 acre severed and benefiting lots from the rural RU zone and the limited service residential LSR zone to the limited service residential special exception 12 LSR-12 zone. The exception will recognize the deficient frontage as existing of the date of the passing of the comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30. The retained lands, 39.5 acres, shall be rezoned from the rural RU zone and limited service residential SR zone to the limited service residential special exception 13 LRS-13 zone. The exception will recognize the private right-of-way access and the deficient frontage as existing of the date of the passing of the comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30. The rezoning of the severed, benefiting, and retained lots is a conditions of severance, file B129-23, and will provide for the appropriate zoning for the size and proposed use of the new parcels. Could I have a mover and a seconder to get this? Thank you, Councillor Valley, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, so are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest involved in this particular application? Seeing none. Is the proponent here? Did they want to speak to this? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm going. And George is my neighbor and I'm buying the 1.5 from him to just increase the space of mine for some storage and hopefully more solitary bee and flower stuff.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Did anybody here have any questions? Okay. Is there any? Okay, 2 online. Is there anybody out there that would like to say anything? You might be
Okay.
muted, so if you
Okay.
can okay,
Now, upon receiving the letter, I had concerns about some of the items in there, but the co-owner phoned Mr. Wales and he explained everything satisfactory to clear up any questions we had. And I would have to say we support the motion at this time, yes.
thank you very much. Lucas, do you need a name and that for records? You got them, Lori?
What is the name?
Vincent Kehoe,
Vincent, thank you, Mr. Keogh.
okay?
And thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other comments?
I guess I would like to comment.
Yes, please. Your name, please?
My name is Edith Barragar, and I own two lots in the area.
Mhm.
And it doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm just going to go to my notes
Mhm.
if I can find them. Might not be able to find them. Okay, I'll just swing it. It doesn't make sense to me why we would change an existing bylaw for the benefit of an individual. It makes sense to change an existing bylaw if there was something being proposed that is of interest to the community. But I don't feel that this is the case. And the property appears to be between people's lots, and all of the lots were, made about the same size, and the road. And so this is behind people's lots. So this will directly impact the people who own these lots, because now, I don't know what the person is intending to store, but they're going to be cutting trees and storing things between those lots and the road. So on the whole, I don't know, I don't see anything I haven't heard anything that would justify changing a bylaw or amending a bylaw to allow somebody to expand their land whereas nobody else has had that opportunity to do that sort of thing. And do we want to give them the opportunity to do that sort of thing? Because all of these properties were kind of made about the same size. So that's the character of the zone. So the request seems to be to change the character of the zone. And I think, and I could be mistaken, but already I think that landowner, but I don't know if it's the same landowner, has built a property and changed the character of the zone by cutting about 1/2 of the trees on the waterfront. Those are my observations and my thoughts on this proposition. I don't understand why we would change something for an individual if that hasn't been an option for more than 50 years.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. Lucas, if I may, our zoning bylaws are designed to help us control development, what happens on properties, but we do amend them from time to time to accommodate. This is not an exception. This is something that is a regular, if I may. Lucas is our planning assistant, by the way. So Lucas?
Yeah, through the mayor to all of council, this application has a provisional consent, and one of the conditions of the consent application is rezoning. There's a couple of different things going on at that property on Cottage Lane. The special exemptions are coming in to highlight the fact that there is a limited water frontage on both of the lots, both on the retained and the severed and benefiting lots. In contrast to what our zoning bylaw requires, over 300 feet of water frontage, and neither of these lots have that. So this zoning amendment as a condition of provisional consent is just recognizing that they are a bit smaller.
Okay, and we do this from time to time, based on,
We have several special
That-
exemption zoning amendments every year, yeah.
and I guess Quinny Conservation has approved us as well. They have not, when I look at the notes, they have not any
They have no
concerns.
concerns.
No concerns. Okay.
But
Uh,
you're saying that you do this on a regular basis, but if you look at the bylaws, there's only, you know, a handful of amendments to those special bylaws that
No.
are created to accommodate.
Yeah, we're up to 13 now in the limited service residential zone since 2012. There's several other zones that do have special exemptions. I believe we have maybe 50 to 60 in the rural residential zone. So there are a handful of them happening every year for different reasons.
Yeah, but a handful is not something we do on a regular basis. It
No.
should be exceptional. And I haven't heard anything that makes it exceptional except for the properties have less waterfront. Is that what you're saying? Because
Basically, yes. Basically, yes. And thank you very much for your comments. Like Lucas has said, our bylaws are there to guide and direct. But what we want to make sure is that we are open to hearing from people who would like to make changes. And we're not going to be restrictive in that regard. We also reach out to the other organizations that need to comment on any such changes. And and it's gone through planning committee, and it's been approved at planning committee, and it's come to us. Peter, is there anything from a planning committee perspective that as our representative? No, nothing. So, okay, I can appreciate where your comments are coming from, but this municipality wants to make sure that we encourage people to come forward with ideas that will help our community grow. And so I think because it's gone through the planning committee and it's been reviewed by our planning assistant, I think the application stands as presented.
And so can you at least clarify one more time in layman's terms, what exactly is the purpose of making this amendment? Because it's like you're saying that it's to compensate for the fact that there's a smaller waterfront, but it extends behind other people's properties.
Yeah, through the mayor to Edith. The condition of severance is a county condition that's been placed on this consent file. So essentially what's happening is there's some existing lots, both George and Grant's lots that have some water frontage on the river. The amount of water frontage that they have on these lots that existed is smaller than what our zoning bylaw required when it was passed in 2012. So essentially through this process, the zoning amendment as a condition of the severance is just recognizing that those existing lots are smaller than what today's standard would be in terms of their water frontage. The nature of the water frontage isn't changing in any way. It's merely just the municipality recognizing that those lots have smaller water frontage than what's required by today's standards.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other comments? Nobody else in this room here? I've tabled the application and we had a mover and a seconder. Are there any comments from council? Okay, so be it resolved that council authorize staff to bring forward amending bylaw at the next regular council meeting. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you very much for those who participated in today's discussion. Moving on to departmental updates. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the administration department update as of February 5th, 2024, please? Thank you. You notice that the wrong dates are in the resolutions there, just to let you know. Okay, so could I have, this is January 8th. Okay, could I move in a seconder to get that onto the table, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Over to you, Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of highlights. We continue to have discussions with Circular Materials Ontario with regards to our recycling contract. They promised us more information last week. It still hasn't arrived. We'll prompt them again this week, but the changeover date still stands in July. We're also working on the year end, and the auditors were here last week and had, as usual, lots of questions. Big compliments to Deputy Treasurer Kate Lessard for all her hard work, and I know it's put her under some strain, and she's doing an amazing job. We're also completing mold abatement in the front lower washroom, and I encourage council to stop and have a quick look when you go by. The abatement team was in here on the weekend and have removed all of the mold. We have concerns that the cast iron pipe that was leaking, that, once it starts leaking in one place, may start leaking in another. That's the nature of a very old building, and we're dealing with that, and we should have the plumber and the drywalling done in the next few weeks. So Councillor or Clerk Crellin has been doing dutiful work on the weekend and letting the contractors into the building, and we appreciate her efforts. Also, the Fair Board, we met with the Fair Board, and Councillor Fleeler was at the meeting as well. And we continue to have discussions regarding the Rock the Trails event, and we have a meeting scheduled with all the parties for February the 19th, and we hope to be able to report back on that to council in terms of where all the responsibilities lie and who's going to be taking the lead on which matters. So thank you to Councillor Palmetier and Councillor Fleeler who sit on the Fair Board. With that, if there are any questions, please answer them.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councillor Valiquette.
Mayor, and this isn't really a question so much as, well, it is a question. But can you explain to me why, and maybe for the benefit of other people paying attention, why we get audited every year? And what's the purpose of that audit?
The simple answer is it's a requirement of the Municipal Act. The more nuanced answer is that it provides citizens with assurance that the municipality is operating within the required public sector accounting standards, PSAB, and that our books are true and accurate to the extent possible to be determined by an audit. So the audits are available on our website going back many years, and provide assurance to citizens that we've been following proper accounting standards and that there is no fraud in those books.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we do. We pay for and have an audit every year on the year's activities and finances. So thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the administration department update as of February 25th as presented. All in favor? Thank you. February 5th, sorry, February 5th. And I don't think the other is, okay, thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the asset management planning for municipal infrastructure? This is 8.1.20 regulation 588/17. A mover and a seconder to get that on the table, please. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, Kelly, over to you. This is scary news.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I think the most important part of the report is the checklist for council's information, which is located on page, oops. I believe it's page 4 of the report.
Yes.
And summarizes the work that's required prior to the deadline in July. Also referenced in the report is the previous work of Evergreen Consulting and Engineering that have prepared all of the background studies. So the next step, and we're subject to
I think that's
council's-
Greenview.
Greenview, sorry.
Sorry, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Subject to council's concurrence, we'll be bringing back further information to deal with essentially the financial aspects of this report. 2 parts to the equation, what service level does the municipality want to provide? And that needs to be balanced with what do you think the community can afford? And that will drive further decisions in terms of, are there assets that we want to dispose of? are there assets that we want to consolidate? And those kinds of discussions will happen at our council meeting 2 weeks from today. The regulation 58817 is being complied by all municipalities in Ontario. It applies to all municipalities. I think it's safe to say that for the most part, municipalities are struggling with the need to develop a financial plan for our assets. For us in particular, bridges and culverts are a significant problem, and I don't think that there's any. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't think there's any way that this municipality can afford the bridges and culverts and the plan in place to have the money in place to complete those. We will also be looking at, in terms of the financial strategies, how do we deal with government grants? And although the regulation doesn't stipulate it, the general assumption with municipalities is that you should plan for not receiving grants. And I think our history with bridges and culverts in particular has been that, we're not likely to receive grants for that. Looking at the condition assessment of our assets, and that is summarized in table 7 and in the report. We do have some good news in terms of our roads and our road conditions. And, that is a service that this municipality does a very good job in. Having said that, like everything else, it's raise the bridge or lower the water. Which services do you want to continue to provide an excellent level of service on, and which ones do you want to increase the service level, and are there opportunities to decrease it? So we'll be having that discussion in 2 weeks' time, but I just wanted to prepare council for the fact that by this July, we need to come up with a plan. And the other thing that we need to discuss in 2 weeks' time is to what extent does that plan receive public consultation, and what form will that take?
Well, I think there's a number of points that you've raised here for us, Kelly, and that is, first of all, like, we are mandated that we have to do this. As I've mentioned previously in the past, the asset management plan has been a wonderful tool to sort of inform us about what we have coming down the pipeline in regards to our various infrastructure needs, as well as buildings and equipment and whatnot. The plan basically is structured out, and it goes, I think, almost up to 40 years, 50 years or whatever, across about in the year 2025, which we have to look at 2026, 2027. And basically we have to come up with, when we're looking at this, and I think you will be walking us through this as a preliminary review at our next council meeting. We're going to look at, we're not going to plan for the next 40 years of how we're going to do this. We're going to focus on the 10. And the last 2 years of this particular council, and then the next 8. And then when a new council comes in, then they can adjust accordingly. So we were looking at what we've got coming down the pipeline in the next 10 years, and we're going to have to figure out what are we going to be able to afford, and what are we going to have to let go. And it's going to be an extremely hard decision. And Kelly will walk us through. We'll also look at the financial implications. But I think the thing which is going to be the most troubling in all of this is that, well, there are definitely going to be some very unhappy people if we have to close a bridge. But if we can't get any help, and as everybody knows, right now we're struggling even with the tax revenues that we're bringing in. And if nobody is going to help us address these concerns, we're in a very dire situation. But as Kelly has mentioned as well, once he tables all of this, and we will be making no decisions at that meeting, it is to get us thinking about what has coming down the pipeline. We'll also have to pick a date, because when we make these decisions, they will be preliminary, and we have to reach out to the community as a stakeholder meeting in this community to get input into what we are doing. And so it's a process. We will keep you informed as we go along. I encourage everybody to tune in to next week for sure, if you possibly can, just to get a flavor of what we're looking at. And then the fun begins. So thank you very much, Kelly. I'm looking forward to this. And thank you very much for the guidance and direction you're providing and the wisdom you're bringing to this, having gone through this before. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Fiedler.
Your worship, I crunched a few numbers, and I used to be good in math, but some of these numbers scare me. But the bridge bridges and culverts alone is $119,870,000. At the present time, Sterling has a bridge asset management tool that they have in place. It would cost us a little bit of money to get that in place, but it's a live document or a living document, you might say. And the information we have in this asset plan now is only accessible by very few people. This tool would make it accessible to everyone. And it would be current information as to the life, the day-to-day life of every bridge and culvert. I think we should really take a serious look at that. Sterling's using it. It works for those people.
Because our asset management plan is available to everybody. It's posted on our website.
Yeah,
I know, but maybe
this-
you're talking about a tool that might help people better understand it.
I think it'd help us as well.
Okay, yes,
It'd
Okay.
be pertinent information that's available right now. And the other thing is that would cost us $11.987 million a year
just for that.
for the bridges.
Yeah.
Just for the bridges. The whole package would be $26,888,000 a year. Like, I'll say it again, the system we had in place worked. We need to get back. We need to think about effort loss. We need to eliminate effort loss and do more with less. We've been doing more with a lot less, but we need to get these things back in play where they're benefit to everyone.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, be it resolved, the council director interim CAO to bring forward a financial analysis to begin the process of discussing the willingness to pay for assets at the February 25th, 2025 meeting. All in favor? Thank you. RFP preparation. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the RFP preparation of initial development charges study? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, Kelly, this is something that we have been talking about for some time. We've been doing all of our studies to get us to this point. Could you walk us through what you?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the rest of council. So at the January 28th meeting, we passed a motion with regards to development charges, and we're bringing back the report. We received 2 submissions from the 2 firms in Ontario that do the vast majority of development charges. The recommendation is to enter into an agreement with Hemson for the product. We received very good references. They were the lowest bid. On the financial considerations, I would note that this will probably require some input from our lawyer, as this is our initial study. Hemson has done the Smiths Falls initial development charge study, as well as Center Hastings, and we're confident that they can perform the work. There will be a startup meeting with council and with staff to talk about how you see the future and what assets are going to be required, which ties in with the previous reports. So we will be dealing a lot with future issues over the next little while. Development charges are an important tool for municipalities to ensure that existing residents aren't required to pay for growth, and that growth pays for itself. I know there are certain elements within our community that will appreciate the implementation of development charges, and there will be others that see this as a hindrance to development. Generally speaking, I see it as a fairness issue, that those that have lived in the community for a number of years are paying for services and have been paying for services for a number of years, and that the development pays for any expansion required to service that community. The report we anticipate will be prepared by the end of June, and there is a notice period and passage by the end of August or the 1st of September.
Thank you very much. Just as reference, as CAO Penner has indicated, that there is such a fee schedule in Center Hastings. There's also one in Sterling. I know Sterling generates considerable dollars, which helps keep the like, helps them with their levy as well. So I'm looking forward to us finally getting going in this regard. When I was on council previous, I've always proposed and would hope that we would have done it, but we elected not to. So now I'm glad that we're moving forward because this council's fully behind this initiative. So thank you very much. We look forward to our first meeting on this. Thank you. And thank you for coordinating all that and doing the evaluation. Be it resolved that the bid of Hempson in the amount of 32,150, including disbursements, be accepted for the preparation of the initial development charges study for the municipality. All in favor? Thank you. Moving on, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the community development and parks and recreation update, please? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Cat. Over to you, Cindy. Is there anything? Great. Kiwanis was ecstatic with your news. Thank you. You made everybody's day.
Very excited to start and initiate the project with the summer. So I will we'll start mapping out the project, and it's going to take us probably the whole year. We've got 2 years to work on the project, so the sooner the better, just because of rising costs. So start that phase out.
Okay. And I see that we're doing the Community Trees event again this year, so that's great.
It's a fantastic event. Everybody loves it. Really great response from the community. So it's fantastic. I think we've got to do it every year.
Yeah, so that's good. And we always get such great uptake, so that's wonderful. And I was just wondering, in regards to the Winter Carnival, I know we've talked about, and you probably can't answer this. I'm not sure if you can either, Kelly, but we talked about creating a skating rink on the lake, and being that Winter Carnival is here this weekend, is there any possibility that we can get in there and clear off some little space? Oh, there's Jay right there. Sorry, Jay, I didn't even see you behind there.
I was hiding back
Yeah,
here.
okay. So Jay, question directed to you. Is that something you think we'll be able to get?
Yes, it's gonna be done this week.
Thank you very much. Wonderful news. That's all in part and parcel of the fun that we're going to have this weekend. Jay, is there anything that you needed to report on? Everything seems to be going well under your leadership.
We don't have any issues that I know of right now anyways.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, please go ahead, Councillor Valley-Cat.
Through the mayor to Cindy, so with the impending skating area on the lake, are we gonna social media that a bit so people are aware?
Let everybody know. Well, we're gonna check the weather to make sure that all is good, and then we can possibly put out a posting on Friday just to let everybody know that it's ready to go, and that it's everybody can get onto the ice.
Great, thank you.
I don't think we're going to have any problem with weather this year, other than snow.
Thursday's supposed to be really bad.
Yeah, snow, a lot of snow. But I think there's going to be lots of ice, exactly. Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, to the community development coordinator, is there any opportunity, and I know you've probably worn out the soles on your shoes trying to find money, but Enbridge Gas, Bell Canada, Hydro, all these people that are, delivering services to our community, I wonder if they would, it's only good publicity, and I guess at the other end of the coin, it's goodwill that they would help us with different things. And I know you probably reached out.
Yes, so all the funding just started opening up. So anything that we would apply for would be for the following year. So I'm open to it. I'm reaching out to all these different organizations just to see when their funding intake will open up. So I will definitely think about that for 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased with the efforts of both of you during Rochelle's absence. You're doing an awesome job. Thank you. Be it resolved that council receive the community development and parks and recreation update as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Derek isn't here, but could I have a mover and a seconder to table the fire department update, please? Thank you, Councillor Valley-Cat. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on that update? Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, I don't have a question, but I know Derek, the chief was and all the chiefs around were asking if we could get an extended use of life out of the fire trucks. And I just wonder if he's made any progress with that. So that's just a question for him.
Well, yeah, he's not here unfortunately.
No,
Dan.
but
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
could just
it's- yeah.
relay that to him, I know he doesn't stop, so we've got quite a crew of people that just keep contributing, so, but to the point, those fire trucks, they use them, bring them back, they make sure everything, it's ready to go. 20-year-old truck,
Probably one of the
most dependable,
yeah.
they're still as dependable 20 years old as they are brand new, pretty much. They keep them up. So why couldn't we squeeze that for another 5 years?
We've already squeezed it and I would agree with you. I mean, if we can squeeze more, we should. But we have already gone beyond what they think, like, you know, what
Yeah.
the life expectancy of that is. But I agree with you. It's probably one of the best maintained vehicles in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of this. Anyway, we'll put forward that question. We'll have the director to the CAO and he will follow up with the fire chief. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Be it resolved that council receive the fire department update as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the bylaw and enforcement officer update from November and December 2024 Tweed bylaw operations log report and statement of revenue and expenditures as of December 31st, 2024. Mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on said bylaw? On said bylaw, on said reports. Be it resolved that council receive the November and December 2024 Tweed bylaw operations log as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the December 2024 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation Report and the January 2025 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation Report? The mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any question, excuse me, any questions on said reports? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the December 2024 and January 2025 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation Reports as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the committee board reports, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. These reports are the Building Inspection Services Report and the Bylaw Enforcement Services. Are there any questions on either of those? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the committee board reports as presented. All in favor? Moving on to bylaws. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-13, a bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30, Recountryman Road? Councillor Fleeler, thank you. Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-13 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of February 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-14, a bylaw to authorize the erection of stop signs at various intersections within the municipality of Tweed? Mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-14 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of February 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-15, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2014-07, being a bylaw for the licensing and regulating of dogs in the municipality of Tweed? Have a mover and a seconder to get that on the table, please. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Are there any questions on that bylaw? Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, I read through this and read through it, and I'm a little bit confused. So we're gonna leave this at 3 dogs per household? This is part of the, where is it? Number 2 in the bylaw? So is this?
Kelly. Kelly's going to answer your question.
So does this have to do with the request to increase the number of dogs per household?
No.
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, maybe I was confused. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no.
So this is a result of a request two dwellings on one lot. And
Oh, sorry, maybe I got the wrong bylaw here.
No,
so this will permit two dwellings on one lot to have.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It will also permit, and as the
That's okay.
report states, we cannot prohibit dogs in a tenant situation. It's against the Residential Tenancy Act. So this bylaw will permit 3 dogs per.
Per household.
Per
Okay,
household.
that's what I thought. Okay, good.
okey doke.
Thank you.
Any further questions? And thank you. Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-15 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of February 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-16? A bylaw to convey certain property described on registered plan 21R-26888 in the township of Elsevier for road widening purposes. Move in a second. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on that bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-16 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of February 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Items for consideration. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2023-13 being a bylaw to govern the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings of the council of the municipality of Tweed, sets out that regular meetings of council shall be held on the second Tuesday of each month. The regular council meeting for November 2025 lands on Remembrance Day, which is considered a public holiday for all employees of the municipality of Tweed, as set out in bylaw number 2023-25. Council will provide direction to set a new date for the daytime regular November council meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder to change that date to November 12th, 2025 at 9 a.m.? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on changing that date? And thank you for bringing it to our attention. Be it resolved that council will amend the November 2025 regular council meeting to be held on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 at 9 a.m. All in favor? Thank you. We are now going to move into closed meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder to move into closed please? Please. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier, and thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Be it resolved that council go into a closed meeting at 10 a.m. Thank you. seconder to direct staff, please. Thank you very much, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you very much, Councillor Fleeler. Be it resolved that staff follow council direction from the closed meeting. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table correspondence information, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. I would like to see us support 14.1.2, which is the US tariffs. Do I need a mover and a seconder for that when I do that, or do we just say we're going to do it? Sorry, I need a mover and a seconder.
Give to receive and file on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And we'll do a separate one from support.
Okay. Okay, so we will, can I have a mover and a seconder to support that? Councillor Valiquette, you suggest, and Councillor Fleeler suggests. Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. And then the others are just information items that I wanted to draw everybody's attention to. Item 14.2.5 is the one that Councillor Fleeler was referring to as is vote like your quality of life depends on it from AMO. The others are a number of articles that some taking place at county where I have talked and commented on certain issues facing Hastings County. And then there's our letter of rejection from the Ministry of Infrastructure. And then also some funding announcements. For example, Hastings County has received $900,000 to help address the homelessness issue. And Belleville received, this was just all announced the day before the election. Belleville received $6.4 million, 6.1 million to help with the Heart Hub in Belleville. And that I think was for 3 years. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, I'm not sure if anybody else wanted to draw attention to anything there. Okay. I just want to go back up here. Be it resolved that council receive the information be received and filed. All in favor? Thank you. And be it resolved that council support 14.1.2 on our package. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the committee board minutes? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. We have minutes here from Fairgrounds, and we have Quinny Waste Solutions, Joint Fire Service Board, and Thomasburg Hall. Any questions on any of those minutes? Yes, Councillor Valiquette, and then looks like.
Yeah, just the Fairground minutes. That was me calling the order, but I don't think I was at that one. I think that was Jim and Jacob. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have chaired that one. Is that the one that you were? Yeah,
I was a little, I forgot about that meeting.
yeah, so I chaired
Good
that.
thing I
meeting.
had a fast car.
So that would have been myself. Not you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions?
I did more.
Maybe not really the place. The due to weather, we had to cancel the oh goodness, the Hamlet meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know if we had started on a new date. Okay, that was just a
Okay,
question to get
Okay.
that clarified.
it's been one heck of a winter.
Real Canadian.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's what we used to get.
We gotta get back to
Yeah.
what
Kill some
Canada,
ticks.
Yes, it will, definitely.
gotta get back to what Canada does best.
Okay, be it resolved that council receive the committee and / board information as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Conformatory bylaw. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the conformatory bylaw, please? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier, and thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Be it resolved that the conformatory bylaw number 2025-17 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of February 2025. All in favor? And can I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn today's meeting? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier and Councillor Fleeler. Be it resolved that council adjourn at Lori 10:29. Thank you. Good meeting. Wow. That was a good